Are we live? It says we're live. What's going on, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to Wednesday Live. Welcome to Home Built Workshop. I hope all of you are having an amazing week. Right on. Let's see here. As we get situated, how's everybody doing today? Hopefully the weather's nice where you are. We are out of our little deep freeze spell here. It's pretty decent. Can't complain. There we go. All right. Now I can see the video. I can see the chat. Bam. We're good to go. What's everybody up to? Let's see. You guys are here already. Robert's here. Robert says morning, afternoon, evening, whatever time it is you're watching from. Howdy, people. Stay safe and healthy. Good morning, Robert. How are you doing? Sam's here. Sam says, hello, everyone. Don't worry, Sam. I'm switching to live chat right now. There we go. Yep. Sam's said, don't forget the coffee. And then it's beanie time. It is. It is beanie time and coffee time. Sam says, Jeff will forget something. I probably will, Sam. I don't know what I've forgotten yet, but I will probably forget something. Oh, let's see. Right on, right on. Robert says, howdy, howdy, howdy. What's up? Sam, oh, there it is, live chat. Oh, I'm on it. I'm on it today. Right on. Thanks for the reminder. Right on. Let's see here. Okay. I think everything is set. So far, we're checking the stream quality. We have 0. That's a 0.0%, it says, dropped frames, which is good. Which kind of tells me that the issues that I was having last week were probably due to the weather. I'm guessing. I don't know. But so far, we're good to go. How's everybody been? How have we been? What have you been up to? Around here, we'll probably get to that. It's kind of been more of the same. Nothing new at the moment. We got a mess back here, which we'll get to shortly. Robert says, currently here in north central Oklahoma, it's 22 degrees. Feels like 27. I think we are somewhere around, well, let's just take a look. This is fairly accurate. This says 35 right now. It was 22 or something this morning. It says 35, supposed to be in the 40s today. For the rest of the week, really, not too bad. Not too bad. Oh, let's see. Sam, how's everything in the UK? How's the winter treating you over there? Let's see. Sam says, I saw this stream thumbnail. Huh? Seeing father and daughter in the workshop was actually quite sweet. Oh, I know what you mean. I know what you mean, Sam. I'm with you. Like the little preview pictures you're talking about that I have on there? Yeah. I'm going to tell you, like, yeah, those were fun. Like doing projects with my daughter is super awesome. Yeah, it's so fun. Now she's grown quite a bit since a lot of those, and it's a little different challenge to get her out here right now. But yeah, I definitely really enjoy those times that I get to do that. For sure, yes, it is awesome. Harry Dude's here. Harry Dude, what's up? Harry Dude says, how are we all? We are all good, Harry Dude. How about you? Right on. Right on, right on. How's things going down there in Australia? Are you roasting still? Are you still like 1,000 degrees Celsius or something like that? Jimmer's here, Jim. Jim says 13. 13? 13. What's up, Jim? What are you working on today? What's on the lift today? What's in the garage? Dastardly Dave says, sup all. What's up, Dave? How we doing? Right on, right on. Robert says, since the snowstorm last week, It has not gotten above freezing, staying around low to mid-20s. Yeah, ours has sort of been that way for, well, till I think Monday. Monday was we had a little bit of snow Sunday night again. It was still cold and kind of crappy. School had a 2-hour delay. But after that, really, it kind of warmed up after Monday morning. And I mean, warmed up, I mean, in the 40s, but upper 30s to 40s. So everything's kind of melting off here. We didn't get a whole lot of snow that a lot of you got. But yeah. Oh, Jimmer says Fahrenheit. Oh, gotcha. 13. That's a chilly one. That's a chilly one. We had that a few days ago. Yeah, I heard you guys are supposed to be pretty cool over there for a week or so, or maybe more. Which means your snow's going to stick around. Sam says 7 Celsius in the UK. That's about in the 40s. Not bad. That's about what we're going to be for a high. Right on. Right on. Cheers, everyone. So what's everybody up to? What are we working on? You guys have projects in the works? I'm sure Jim's got projects in the works. Hair Dude's got projects in the works, I'm sure. I got projects in the works. Still. I want to know what everyone's got going on. Hair Dude said we had a 44-degree day on Tuesday. Yesterday was 27-ish, 25 today. 44. That's 110 Fahrenheit. Wow. Ooh. I don't think I've ever experienced 110. 103, 105 or something like that. That's about it. Never. So what would that be? About maybe 40? 40 Celsius, never 44. Wow. That's crazy. Yesterday was 27, 25 today. So that's like just below 80. That's not bad. That's craziness. Robert says they have the roads pretty well cleared off. Yesterday was the first time I've gotten out of the house. Still have about 4 to 5 inches of snow on the ground. Wow, Robert. Yeah, it actually feels like winter for right now, which I don't mind it. If it's going to be winter, I'd rather it feel like winter. Jimmer says supposedly more snow to come. Ooh, maybe you'll get a little bit of winter like we used to get, like back when winters were actually winter. Sam says my latest Knipex. I don't know how to say that. Knipex. I don't know. Tools are ferro crimps. Got 2 profiles, star and square. Interesting. Very cool. Can't go wrong with new tools. I only have one of those Knipex tools, and it's actually super cool. It's nothing fancy. It's just some cutters, but these little cutters, these are great. I've got this little leather pouch. Well, I made it in a video that I use for like fixing fence and stuff. That holds my fencing pliers and some wire cutters, and I got a hammer, little thing for a hammer and stuff. Those little Knipex pliers, Knipex, they're great for cutting fence wire. It makes it super quick and easy. It works really good, but that's the only pair that I have. Hey Dude says got a few setups and wiring jobs in at the moment. Very cool. Very cool. I'll show you where I'm at right here shortly. We'll get up to speed on what's going on here. Blonde Brownies! Good morning! What's going on? Says we were 0 again this morning. We have only 8 to 10 inches of snow. Not bad. It sounds like that's kind of about average, I guess. Up north from you, that's what they got up there too. About 8 inches of snow, it sounds like. So yeah, it sounds like that it was kind of a pretty average snowfall across the area there. So Yeah, that's cool though. And yeah, I heard it's going to be cold and it's going to stick around for a while with the snow, like it was when we were kids. We'd get winter and it was winter until spring. Now it doesn't seem to be that way, but very cool. Well, stay warm there. Hopefully the shop is at least comfortable. It looks like a mighty large space, so hopefully it's not freezing cold. Hair Dude says some parts of the state hit 48 a couple days ago. That's literally like 118 ish. That is insane. Wow. Jimmer says Knipex is top of the line. They are very good. They're very good. Something weird with mine though, and I don't know why, but it has resolved itself. For some reason, not long after I got these, I don't know, I was cutting something and I had to like really bear down on it. It felt like they bound up, right? And like they wouldn't, I literally had to two-hand open them and then to squeeze. And I'm like, what the heck's going on? I'm like, I don't understand. How can all of a sudden they just bind up? And I would spray them with oil, penetrant, WD-40, PB Blaster, all kinds of different penetrating oils, and try to work. And it was like two hands back and forth to work them, and they wouldn't loosen up. And this was probably like this for quite a while, and I couldn't see anything wrong. Like blowing, compressed air, trying to make sure there's nothing jammed in there that I can't see, and finally one day that it was almost like a switch, just boom. Oh, they work fine. I cannot explain it. It was very strange, but yeah, they're fine now. So I don't know. It was just really weird. I do like these quite a lot, especially this size. I don't know what this is. Is this the 8-inch length? I think they have different ones. Yes, this is an 8-inch wire cutter. And they work really well. Not sponsored or anything, but they are definitely some good cutters for sure. Sam says the ferrule tools can apply mini ferrules for guitar wires for a clean and snug fit. Interesting. Huh. Interesting. I'm gonna have to look at some of those. Yeah, I know you've mentioned them a few times, and I just keep forgetting to check them out. It's kind of one of those things that if it's not something I'm like in the market for, like my brain doesn't tend to think about it. But I got to remember to do that. Here it says, got Knipex flush cutters, about the size of the wire cutters, great for stainless steel fret wire. Ooh. Yeah. I got stainless steel wire or stainless steel fret wire for this next build that I'm going to be using. I might have to look at that. Yeah, I'll have to check that out here, dude. Robert says, Tennessee and a few other places where normally it's more mild got really hammered with ice storms. Nashville, for one, had a bunch of down power lines and broken trees. Wow. Yeah, I hadn't heard about that. I did hear that there was supposed to be ice in some of the areas. Hopefully everybody's good with all of that. Yeah, ice is not fun. Ice storms are a drag. Yeah, it's definitely not fun. I remember driving to work once upon a time, Jim, way back when. We had an ice storm. I don't know when it was, 90. It was in the late 90s, 98, 9, something like that. Had a really bad ice storm, and trying to get to work down from up on the hill was bad. It was real bad. Paul's here. Paul says, greetings, everyone. Greetings, Paul. How we doing? What's going on? Right on. Looks like you have been busy in the shop too, Paul. That's awesome. Glad to hear you're back at it. Sam says, you might have had a tiny bit of steel in the hinge. Yeah, I don't know. I could not get it. I couldn't find anything, but thankfully it worked its way out and they worked just fine. Yeah, I thought something had really galled up when I, maybe really had to bear down on that thing to cut whatever I was cutting. Thought maybe I jacked up the hinge or a pin or something, but it cleared out and it's fine now. Sam says, Paul, hello. Robert says, I've gone through a few bad ice storms and no, they are no fun whatsoever. Yeah, it's not great. And we're, thankfully I haven't had a bad one out here, where I am. One or two, but nothing super bad. One good thing here is that it's relatively flat, not like where I grew up, you know, and like every road pretty much to get down off the hill where I lived was, well, there was lots of hills, so that was never fun. So let's see. You guys want to see what I've been working on still? What's something snagging me here? You can probably see in the background. Check it out. Now, I need to preface this by saying this is under no circumstances the finished piece. This is just a test. But I haven't even sanded the tabs off from the machine yet. What do you think? I think it's pretty awesome. Now there's a don't mind the fact that there's extra tuner holes going the opposite way. Had a little mishap programming the the G code, and I mirrored something when I shouldn't have mirrored something and flipped it, and yeah, that's why we do tests. But we got fan frets, a 28-inch to 26.5-inch scale length. This is the Dorian body. Belly contour. I think I showed you this I showed you a different one last week. This is a new one where I didn't quite have so many mistakes. We got almost a full length arm bevel here, which I kind of like. It's super comfortable. The neck came out good, except for the stuff that I mirrored when I should have just flipped. But really, for the first prototype, well, test body, I guess, not really even the prototype, I'm pretty happy with it. Pull recesses for the neck ferrules, control cavity. I mean, it's pretty well, it's pretty well there. The only other thing I got to figure out is exactly, actually, no, never mind. Slamming the neck into things. I gotta just locate where I'm gonna put the jack, but yeah, I got a few adjustments to make yet. I'm in the process of making another test neck because this one I did screw up with the flip here, but that one's going pretty good. Actually, it's right here. So there's the there it is right there. I need to make an adjustment for some of the spacing right here. But there's the back of the neck. I just did this morning. This is ready for getting a fretboard glued on, which I'm going to do that when we're done. Glue the fretboard on, test fretboard, of course. And then a little bit later today, I'll finish carving this again and make sure that everything fits okay. But it's coming along. We're getting there. It is a ridiculous amount of work. Not hard. None of it's difficult. But it's just crazy how much time it takes. In the meantime, while the machine's running, I'll get back to the comments here in just a second. I have been preparing some stock. I've been preparing like clamping calls, all kinds of stuff, right? So clamping calls, this is right off the machine. Clamping call fits there. That way I can clamp a fret. You can't see it. That way I can clamp a fretboard in place without damaging the neck and get good support. I'm going to end up with a lot of these different clamping calls because I make it based off of the exact file. So I've got some other ones up there for some of the different guitars that I've done. Also been preparing stock. Ugh. I think, whoa. Now these aren't to thickness, but I think I'm going to do basswood and walnut top. That way when we do like the arm bevels and stuff, it's going to reveal some of this wood underneath. I think I'm going to do 2 of these. I'm going to do one basswood and walnut, and I think the other one's going to be mahogany and walnut. I only have one basswood blank, but I think that's what we're going to do. This is a really cool piece of walnut. This is a one piece. That's a one piece top from my own personal stash. But it's coming along. We're getting there. We're getting there on this one. I think I may have ran into a snag though, which kind of sucks. As I'm starting to get the test pieces worked out, I'm started to look for the hardware, tuners and that sort of thing. And the bridge that I'm going to use is a Hipshot bridge. The Hipshot makes a multi-scale specific bridge. And that I think is the best option for this particular build. So I went on yesterday. I should have done this a long time ago, but I didn't. So I didn't anticipate there being an issue. But I went on to the Hipshot and I ordered a right-handed bridge and a left-handed bridge. And it wasn't until upon checkout that there was a notice that came up saying these are made basically on demand, so it may be a while before your order ships. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Which brings me back to last year when I made the base, the ST4, the Subtonic. I ordered some stuff right from Hipshot and it took forever. They don't tell you that until after you order. I did, however, look for this bridge from other places other than Hipshot. I couldn't find it anywhere. At least not in the left-handed one. So I reluctantly ordered from Hipshot, hoping that it was gonna ship right away. And I read through the entire page, every single page throughout the process, and it's not until after you pay that it says, oh, by the way, now that you ordered, we're going to ship it whenever we feel like it. So, yeah, dang it. So I don't know how long that bridge is going to take. The reason that it may have me snagged up is because I have to do string through ferrules. I didn't want to, because I don't really care for those too much, but I'm going to have to do it, and I have to measure. I got to do all the dimensions unless I can find a diagram on their website, which I got to look for. But I got to plug that bridge into this so that I can drill the holes. So I don't know if I dare start really doing much until I get that bridge in hand. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, maybe they're running a batch today. I don't know, but that's where we're at. I'm going to keep going as far as I can until that bridge snags me up. I think I should be able to do the entire neck. Oh, I've got truss rod, carbon fiber rods, all of that stuff coming. Yeah, we'll see how things go. Okay, back to the comments. Sam says, hello, Paul. Robert says, I've gone through a few bad ice storms. Oh, sorry, I scrolled back too far. Sam says, according to AI, without Nightbot, you could be leaving your channel wide open, potential scammers, and look for unmoderated channels to spread their dodgy links or comments. Robert says, of course, we want to see what you're working on. Ta-da! Sempakin's here. Rick, what's going on? Sempakin says, good morning, looks great. Just saw where you held up the body. Right on. Yeah. Darcy's here. Darcy says, I arrived late. Is this a kid guitar? No, Darcy. First off, welcome. How we doing? This is a guitar. This is a Haley Guitars model. This is my Dorian that I am working on. In the past, I've done all of them from templates. Mainly, specifically this one of these right here. But I'm working on converting them over to digital files. So I'm basically redesigning the whole entire thing. This is a version of the Dorian that I'm making. This is going to be a multi-scale baritone, meaning it's got them wacky fan frets. It goes from a 28-inch scale length on the bass side to a 26.5-inch scale length on the treble side. And yeah, my first fan fret build, well, outside of a cigar box guitar. I did probably build the world's only multi-scale cigar box guitar. Maybe not the world's only, but yeah. So this is just something I'm working on. This is all test cuts off of the CNC machine, just to test things before I actually start cutting nice material. Senpakin says, don't you miss doing it more by hand now that you have the CNC? Yes and no, to be completely honest. I was talking the other day that if I was doing this by hand, I probably could have had it built by now, to be completely honest. The design time it's a lot, for me anyway. Design and testing. I like to make sure that I have everything down, so that probably means I do a couple more test pieces than I really need to, but I want to make sure that I've got all the operations, I've got the process nailed down. I don't want to go in and waste material like this. So I like to make sure that everything's good. So if I was just going to build a Dorian, just a regular Dorian, let's say, I could have had it done literally, and I'm not kidding. I could have had it built and finished and playing by now in the time that I've been designing this. But the thing is, once this is done, the repeatability factor is going to be a lot more. Does that make any sense? You know what I'm saying? So on one hand, this is super tedious, especially working on a brand new model. And it's not like I'm using a file that I got from, that I purchased online or something like that. This literally started from a blank slate. It started from a picture of this template in my CAD software, and I've done all of the drawing, the recreating, all of that sort of stuff. So it takes time, and I still learn every day. I'm still learning things. So yeah, on one hand, doing it by hand, yes, it's faster initially, and I do enjoy that part of it. But on the other hand, I am also excited to have digital files done for this particular instrument. So yeah, I could see both ways. I don't have a problem either way. I like both ways. I don't know if that answers the questions or not, but. Oh, let's see. Senpakin says, how is Geiger to deal with? Well, would they have the bridge? They do not have the bridge. I checked. Paul says, which hip shot bridge are you waiting on? I'm waiting on I forget the number. It is their 6-string multi-scale. It's the 18-degree multi-scale bridge. I forget the exact number. I've used the 6-string regular flat, straight across bridge, and it's a great bridge. I just don't like doing string through holes. So I wasn't super excited. I looked all over the place for a different one, but ultimately I ended up just deciding to go with it. I'm like, I can build all that into the file. So it's the 18-degree one, but I ordered a left-handed one and a right-handed one in black, and I just couldn't find them anywhere. Norman's here. Norman says, hello, Jeff. Norman, what's going on? How are you doing? Darcy says, I used to go by Skoden Custom Lures Hand. Oh, right on. Right on. Okay. Thank you for letting me know that, because I never know. Like when somebody changes, if you change your username or something like that, I don't always know right off the bat automatically. that you know, that it's you. So thank you for letting me know that. Let's see. I don't think I didn't miss anybody's comment there, did I? I don't believe so. Darcy says, looking great. Right on. Thank you. Sam says, I moderate a few other channels on YouTube, and I'll use a Nightbot. Yeah, I don't know, Sam. I don't understand it. Robin's here. Robin, what's going on? How we doing? Robin, welcome. Good morning. Robin says, better late than never. Hi, guys. Right on. Robin, how things going? Norman asks, how many neck-through guitars have you done? I haven't seen one of your videos yet. I'm still going through them. I have done a total of 0. Haven't done any neck-throughs. I've done, yeah, pretty much all bolt-on necks. That's kind of what I like. I don't know why. But yeah, I haven't done any. Yeah. The short answer. But I'm super excited about this one. I'm not super excited not knowing when I'm going to get the bridge, but I'm pretty excited of the progress. I wish I was a little farther along because it seems to be taking a really long time. But that's all right. Once it's done, and then I can repeat as necessary. Paul asks, is it the Hip Shot piano bridge? No. Let me see if I can find it. Really quick. Hip Shot. Let's see here if this works. Bridge. And I'll give you the exact number. Yep, there it is. 6-string multi-scale fixed guitar bridge. It is the 18-degree left-handed. SKU is the 4MS06180B-L. If that helps you. Yeah, it's an 18-degree. It's the saddles are on an 18-degree slant. The ones I just ordered are in black. It's under the multi-scale category on the Hip Shot website. Neptunes! Neptune says, hi, everyone. Hi, Jeff. What's going on, dude? Right on. Right on. Good morning. How we doing? I hope everything's going well. Right on. Neptunes is here. Norman says, I don't like to string through either, but I'm going to use a headless bridge so I can use the fine tuners on the fly as well as the normal locking tuners. Very cool. Yeah, I don't know. I've just gotten to where I've done a few builds with the string through ferrules. I just honestly, with the quality of at least the bridges that I've been using, I just don't feel that string through is necessary. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not good or bad, in my opinion, okay? I just like not having to worry about those string through ferrules, to be completely honest. I don't like them. I don't know why, but once I get everything situated on here, I can drill the holes and it should be fine. I just don't like that step. It's so tricky to get perfect alignment on the back. But like I said, if I do it with CNC, it should be fine. Shouldn't really be a big deal. But anyway, that's the plan. Whenever the bridge comes in, I'll be able to locate it, transfer those measurements into my digital file, and we'll be good. It'll be fine. I was just hoping to find an actual hardtail non-string through bridge that I could use for this. I did find, I think it was a Hip Shot as well. Hip Shot sells the single saddles, which I like those too, but they're one of the ones that they sell says that you can do string through, or it somehow fits into the bridge. I'm not sure how that works. I didn't take the chance on that yet. I might try it because I do like those too. I think they look cool. That is a lot of holes to locate, and you got to get them in the right spot. But which I don't think it would be a huge deal. It's just one less thing I was hoping to not have to worry about. Sam says, be cool if you had a UV varnish curing light. Yeah, it would. Well, I guess I do, sort of. It's called the sun. I don't use UV stuff though. But I've thought about it because it does look super cool to be able to just put on your finish, put it in the sun or under the light, and boom, it's cured. That's pretty cool. Sam says, Neptunes, hello. Paul says, okay, don't have one of those. Would have sent it to you if I did. Well, thank you, Paul. I appreciate that. Norman says, they fall out on my Schecter, so not a fan. Oh, wow. I've never had one fall out. Wow, yeah, that would be annoying. I bet you could probably take that one, put just a tiny bit of glue, maybe a little bit of wood glue, not necessarily to glue to the metal, but to just act as a friction material, maybe when you shove it back in there with a little bit of wood glue. I mean, you could use like super glue probably too, just to help hold that in place. That would be annoying if you had one that keeps falling out. If it was mine, I think that's what I would do. I would put a little bit of wood glue on the ferrule and just bloop, tap that sucker back in, and it should give enough friction to hold it in place, I would think. Sempakin says, I, for one, like to string through. I made an easy jig with a pin register kind of system. Yes, I've seen several of those. Maybe when I was talking about it, I wasn't really trying to say I don't like them, even though I don't know how to word that, to be honest with you. It's just extra work that I didn't want to have to do. Let's just put it we're just going to, plain and simple, I just didn't want to have to deal with them. But now we do. Like I said, I've done it. My first several guitars have those. A couple of them are crooked. I think one of them came out pretty good. But yeah, a pin system like that I've seen works fine. Rick asks, have you done string through before? Yes, I have. Some of the very first builds. Most of the ones that I've put the Haley Guitars name on, I have not done string through. I've done just a strictly hardtail top loader style bridge. That's still my preference. But as we get farther along in this one is now going to be string through. Robert says, I don't know if they had the left-hand version, but eBay has some of those bridges. I think I saw those on there, and the ones I saw were a slightly bit cheaper, but I didn't see the lefty. Of course, I didn't go through like page after page of listings. Paul says, I use a Fender bridge as a drilling template for my ferrules, gets the spacing exact. Then I use an 1/8" drill bit on the drill press and use it to drill the 5/16 ferrules. Do you flush mount your ferrules, Paul, or do you leave the lip sitting on the surface? I've seen both ways. I kind of like the flush mount, and I'm just not sure how I'm going to do this yet. I might recess them to make them flush, I think, because I like that smooth look better. Yeah, but that's when I get the bridge. That's what I intend to do. I'll probably have at least another test body when I get those, so that way I can actually slap a tuner on it. Not this one, of course, because these are jacked up. this other one, I'll have tuners on there, and I'll actually be able to, put a string on there and actually locate the bridge, get it in place, take all of the measurements, and from there I'll be able to lay everything out. And it's going to be fine. It's going to be fine. I just need that bridge first. And I'm really kind of kicking myself that I waited until yesterday. Again, not really knowing that Hip Shop is all basically on demand. I don't know. It's just weird. But yeah, I think I will probably put them flush. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We're still a ways out though. I was thinking I was getting a little bit close, but now I'm a little bit bummed out that I just don't know. I don't have a, it's not like, it's going to ship in the next couple days. It might, but it might not. I don't know. It's just kind of a drag. Norman says it's about the journey and finding out what we can create. It is. I replaced the ferrule with my brass pins from jewelry making. Oh, right on. There you go. Very cool. Yeah, see, it's just about finding out what we can do. Sam says YouTube just dumped a split screen ad on me. I could still see, but not hear the stream. The advert audio played instead. Yeah, I don't understand. Paul says they sell brass inlays for the back. They have the holes in them. Looks nicer and easier to do than drilling the ferrules. Yes, I have seen those. But, again, I'm doing an 18-degree multi-scale bridge. I don't know if they have the insert for that. Now, I could probably make them if I wanted to go down that road. I don't know if I do, though. Rick says, I do flush mount, like that better. Yeah, I think I do too. Like, the ones that I've already done are not flush mount, and there's absolutely nothing wrong with them. I just think it's, for me and for this model, if we're going to go to the trouble, let's like make it twice the trouble and just make them flush. Paul says, depends on what the customer wants. Most of the time, I leave the lip, but some customers don't like that, so it just depends. Yeah, I get that. I get that. We'll see. We'll see what we end up with. I did order ferrules when I ordered the bridge. I ordered some ferrules from Hipshot as well. Yeah. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Unfortunately, with all this time that I'm spending working on designs and things, I haven't done much filming, which which is kind of a drag. But also on the other hand, something else that probably many of you also are going to be working on if you're not already. January here means taxes. Tax time. Yeah. So it's time to, I've been working on gathering numbers, gathering all of the documentation, all of that stuff that we love so much. Not. So yeah, so that's another thing that I've been working on. It's that time of year. Plus also, I think I mentioned last week that we're looking at high school stuff for the kiddo, trying to get all that stuff figured out. And I think we do. I think we've got all that sorted, which is going to be, it's going to be different. Let's just put it that way for right now. More updates on that to come, but it's going to be different. But yeah, taxes, all that stuff. Like, it's just been kind of a crazy month here. Yeah, kind of weird. And the tax thing, I don't even want to go into it. You guys know. Robert says, I bought a couple of basically oval plate for the string through ferrules so they could act as a template for placement of the holes. There you go. Yeah. Yeah, see, I need to get the bridge because I got to look on their website. They might have a diagram. A lot of them do. And if that's the case, then I could just start plugging the dimensions in ahead of time. But it's not just straight across like a normal, quote unquote, normal bridge. They're at an angle. Let me see if I can show you. There. You see how that bridge is angled? I'm holding it in front of my face so that it focuses. That's what it looks like, right? So normally your bridge is going to be straight across. This one's at an angle because of the multi-scale. And so most of the templates that are out there for drilling string through ferrules are not going to work because they have to go at an angle. And you can't just take the template and turn it because that's going to change the spacing. You'd have to basically redesign it, which I might do. I got to do a little bit more work, and it's just, it's just a couple more hours of design time, probably. Paul says, just waiting on final paperwork for taxes. I do my own and have for years. I don't have anything. I have one W-2 so far. There's a whole lot of papers that I still need. So I am nowhere near getting this stuff together. So it's never fun. Especially, I've got a lot of paperwork from different places that I have to gather. So it's kind of weird. It's a pain in the butt. But unfortunately, we can't do anything about it. I definitely don't do my own though, that's for sure. When I see the number of forms that my CPA files for us, it's like 20 or 25 forms or something like that. It's a ridiculous amount of forms. I'm like, that is one time I am happy to write the check to cover that deal. So yeah, one of the very few times. Sam says, tax is automatically taken directly from the UK. Perhaps private companies might have to fill out forms. So ours is, well, depending on how your work is formatted, right? Like most people, if you're working for a company, a business of some sort, you're going to get a W-2, and they have taken out the tax in most cases. But I also get half a dozen 1099s at the end of the year. 1099s, you are responsible for all the taxes. So they don't take them out on that. So you have to file all these different things. Well, you don't have to, I guess, but ours, we have a bunch of different forms to file, and it's confusing. There's no way that I could do it myself. I used to. When I was strictly a W-2 employee, I did our own taxes for quite a few years, did my own. But now, no way. There's 0% chance. I haven't done my own, and since I've had more than just W-2s, I've had any sort of business paperwork, I will gladly pay someone to do it, and not like H&R Block either. Yeah, so it's crazy. Tax is not fun. It's also sort of depressing. I don't know why. Like you look at the numbers and you're like, really? Like, why is it so much less? That's what I'm seeing this year. It's kind of weird. Another reason why I'm not super upset that I've been working on this guitar instead of filming. A big drop this year. It's weird. Anyway, let's see. Rick says, with the weather being so pleasant lately, I've been outside and not in the shop. Very cool. Torn down an old garden structure to make way for a greenhouse. Rick, that's awesome. Gonna be growing tomatoes here in the next couple of weeks. That's gonna be cool. Paul says you should be able to get the specs and make yourself a 3D printed template. Yes. Oh, good point. Rather than just redrawing it, I could 3D print one. Yeah, I might do that. I like it. Rick asks, could you have gone with the individual saddles? Yes, I could have. And I looked at those. I just didn't. Yeah, I might try those. I like the way they look. A lot more locating though, for some reason, because each one's got 2 screws and potentially a string through hole. So each one, you got 3 holes that you need to locate in the right spot because you don't want your saddles to be all crooked. You know what I mean? Time surfing, what's going on? Says, hey, what's up? How we doing? Right on, welcome. Good morning. Barbara says, yeah, I've seen the angled string through type string placement. One thing I don't understand, how they figure out the ones where the placement is not in a straight line, but in a 3x3 offset. Oh, Yeah, I know what you mean. So you got 3 and then another 3. Yeah, it's a lot of careful measurements. Really is the only thing I can figure. My best guess is that you have to measure each individual string length specifically, individually. I'm guessing. I've not done it, but oh wait, are you talking about maybe string through where they do separate string through holes and then the bridge is up here? Maybe that's what you're. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. Harry Dude says I have to file a tax return for my business and for me personally. I'm fully self-employed, so no wages or salary to declare. Gotcha. So you file one for the business and for me. I see what you mean. Yeah. See, mine is we have both. But I still have to file for the business. But the way the way Home Built Workshop is set up, is it's set up as basically me individually kind of thing. So yeah. Yep, I know what you mean though, Harry Dude. Taxes, they're just a drag. Just a filing process. I don't know why it's got to be so confusing. Norman asks, what are your thoughts on compound radius necks? I don't have a strong opinion either way, honestly. I don't think I own a guitar myself that has a compound radius, but I don't really like. I get the idea, right? So you've got a smaller radius down low, right, for doing chords and stuff, and then it goes flatter as you go up the neck for more solo-y, technical term, for more solo playing. And if I was a soloist, if I was a shredder, which I'm not at all, I could probably see where that would be helpful. But for my playing style, which is mainly rhythm, not always down here, but a lot of it is, I personally don't see I don't think I'd benefit from it because, like I said, I don't do a lot of solo stuff. But if you're a soloist, you're a shredder, you're a, whatever, you're up and down the neck, I could see where that would help because it's supposed to be faster, supposed to be, the flatter the radius, right? And if that's truly the case, again, I don't play like that, so I don't really know. I think it would make perfect sense. And if you wanted to build one just because, then go for it. I just know that I've not done it for the main reason that I don't need it. But there's absolutely nothing wrong with it whatsoever. In fact, maybe I ought to design this file while I can for this build so that I could do compound. Right now, I just have the radius set and then it cuts the same radius in all the way down, but I could have a radius down here and a radius up here, loft between them in a cut instead. Yeah, I could. I don't know. I might. Yeah, I think a compound radius is perfectly fine. It's just not something that I personally could take advantage of. But yeah, if that's your thing, the solo-y and you're all over the neck, go for it. Give it a shot. Sam says, Americans have to do this each year? Yikes. You may want to move to the UK. Plus here, there's no jaywalking punishments just cross the street anywhere. Safe to do so. Yeah, we have to file taxes every year, Sam. So at the end of the year, your employer or your employers have to provide you with paperwork, which basically says throughout the year, this is how much you've been paid and all this sort of thing. And then you have to file, the tax. The camera's tracking me. You have to file the tax forms with the IRS, which is the Internal Revenue Service here in the U.S. And then they tell you, well, you didn't send us enough money, so a lot of times you got to send more money. Not always, but yeah, it's just a drag. Paul says, I do my taxes, my kids' taxes, and my best friend's taxes every year. I use TurboTax, home and business. Doesn't take too long at all. Yeah, right on, Paul. Like I said, I would love to do it myself. But there's like I said, the sheer number of forms that my CPA files. No way. I'm not even going to try to understand that. Jim says a tax on tea doesn't seem so bad anymore. I mean, compared to what we have to pay now, yeah. Norman says it's in a way, it's like figuring out each point for the fan frets as well, right? Kind of, yeah. So, with the compound, we're still talking compound radius, I believe. You don't have to figure out a whole lot. It's basically, you're going to have, I don't know, I'm just making up numbers. You're going to have a 10-inch radius down here to a 17-inch radius down here, and it just transitions in between. Figuring out these fan frets or the multi-scale frets, this wasn't really that hard either. There's plenty of fret scale length calculators online, and I just basically looked up each individual scale length, and then you start plugging in the numbers to position everything, and it automatically, by the time you combine them, it creates the fan fret. Rick asks, so you've never done compound radius? I've thought of making one now that I have a radius jig. Yeah, you could, Rick. Go for it. I've never done it. I've never done a compound radius. Sam says UK used to have a window tax back in ye olden days. The more windows, the more one pays. Interesting. Harry says, I find the trick with compound radius next is to get the radius at the bridge correct, or else you lose the advantage of compound radius. Yes, absolutely right. So if you're going from a 10, let's just make it easy, right? A 10 to a 20. Now this probably is not going to work with those numbers, but let's just say that, right? So 10 to 20, by the time that transition continues down here, you're at, say, I don't know, 25. I'm just making up numbers, right? The radius changes. Like it's almost like, how your neck tapers out. Well, if you could keep tapering that out for a long ways, pretty soon it's going to be, it's going to be 6 inches wide. Obviously, it'd be comically far out there. But yeah, so what Harry Dude's saying is you can't just use a bridge set for a 10-inch radius. Otherwise, your strings are still at a 10-inch radius, but your neck is at, say, a 20. So you've got to be able to get the bridge right. And as long as you've got enough travel or enough height, enough adjustment, let's just say, that you can realize the correct radius. Hopefully that makes sense. I think I know what you're saying. Oh, let's see. Robert says, I used to do my own taxes for a long time, but when I inherited some investments from an uncle, started using a CPA because I wanted to make sure it was done right. Also had to roll those over. Yes, 100%, Robert. That's why I am super thankful for my CPA. She is great, very thorough, and I don't have to worry about anything. Yeah, I don't have to file all those forms. Norman says, I want to figure out how to scallop the fretboard on the CNC. Honestly, I think you should be able to just, let's see, what would that be? So you're going to scallop it this way, but you want it to follow the radius. I almost think you'd be able to loft that, right? So I'm just thinking out loud. I don't know if this would work. So if you did a sketch on the side of your fretboard, not exactly on the side, but straight, right? Straight up through, I think. And then you project it in your fret slots, leave enough room on either side for the fret, and then you start building in your scallop on both sides. You could, mirror that sketch to the other side down the center plane of the guitar. Then I think you could take that profile, that scalloped profile, loft it over to the other. Well, this is Fusion. I don't know about other ones. Loft it to the other side. using the fret slots as rails. I think. I don't know if that would work, but I think it would. Use the fret slots as rails to make it curve up over. Using you'd have to project your frets to the surface of your neck. Did I lose you? I think that might work. I don't know. I don't know, but that's just what comes to mind. Sam says America is meant to be the last of the free and the land of opportunity. The land of the free. Yes, it's supposed to be. And then we got to file taxes. Owen says, hey, Jeff, I'm working on servicing my eSpar D2 diesel heater. Right on. I'm planning to replace the fuel filter today. Do you have any tips on preventing diesel fuel from going everywhere? Just use some rags, really. What I have found, I got to replace my fuel filter as well. You're talking about the one on the pump, right? What I've found is it doesn't leak much. At least mine doesn't. I have my pump is mounted at an angle like you're supposed to have it. And if I put a wrench on there and I unscrew that fitting, pull that fitting out of there, you might get a couple drops, but it doesn't like just spill everywhere. I would just have a couple rags on hand, maybe wear gloves if you don't want to get it on your fingers. For me, for some reason, I can't stand the smell of diesel fuel on my hands. So I will wear gloves. But if that's the one you're talking about, I haven't had a big deal, a big issue with a lot of fuel spilling out. You'll get a few drops, but it's not like going to pour everywhere. Unless you have yours set up in a different way, right? Like maybe, I don't know, I think your pump's supposed to be higher than the tank, but if yours is somehow the tank's higher, maybe it'll siphon out of there and spill, but I just haven't had a big spill from that, which reminds me, I got to do some work on mine again too. If you remember was it last year? Maybe the year before. I went through and, did a service kit, went through, tore the whole thing down, cleaned it out, new gaskets and all that sort of thing. Mine's been acting funny. I don't know why. It's like really annoying. It'll start up, but it won't run for very long for some reason right now. I don't know if I need to take it apart, with like dust and stuff in here. Maybe a sensor's dirty or something like that, but mine will run for a little bit and then it'll start blowing a lot of smoke and then it'll shut off. So I got to go through and service mine as well. And that's going to be the fuel filter. And, maybe I'll just get another maintenance kit. Hopefully I don't need another glow pin. I don't think so, but maybe. But yeah, Owen, I haven't had a big issue with a lot of fuel spilling. I would say maybe throw on some rubber gloves, a couple of rags. I think you'll be good. And like I say, unless there's some weird configuration that's vastly different than what I have, I think you're going to be fine. I don't think you'll have a big spill. A Levitator Music says, as someone that is a shredder, I would prefer the same radius all across the neck, whether it's a 12, 16, or 20. I don't want to have to adjust my technique at different positions on the neck. That is awesome information. I never thought about that, right? Because I'm not a shredder, and I never claimed to be or any of that. I never thought about that. Yeah, I mean, I could see, like, if you're used to one thing, you got to adjust. No, I imagine it's like everything, right? Like over time, you get used to it. But yeah, that's a good point. And part of me feels that compound radius is maybe like a fancy talking point. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know if it's absolutely necessary. It seems like a fairly new concept. Again, I don't think there's anything wrong with it. Like if somebody likes that sort of thing. But I don't feel that it's necessary. Maybe. I don't know. I think it's probably personal preference. But Levitator Music, that's awesome. That's a great insight. And thanks for sharing that. Neptune says, well, that's it. Gotta go. Neptunes! Take care, my friend. Tell everyone hello from us. Right on. Have a good one. Here, dude. Says Levitator Music, I have a Jackson DK2 compound radius and don't notice the transition. It's a 12 to 16. Interesting. Yeah, see, I think it's probably quite a bit personal, really. Some people are more sensitive to that sort of thing. It's like some people say, oh, I can only play a 14-inch radius. I can't play a 16. I've heard people say stuff like that. I'm like, really? That's a tiny bit, but, right, everybody's different. Sempakin says, I'm not sure what the point of a scalped fretboard is. Enlighten me. Honestly, from what I understand, Rick, and honestly, I don't see a need for it, but I don't play like that. Okay. But there's other people, Ingve, that do. So I guess the idea is when the fretboard is scalloped, it takes a much lighter touch. It's my understanding, right? So instead of when I play, I push the strings down to the fretboard. Now, if it's, if your action is good, that's not that far. I guess when you play scalloped, you only press it down to where the string makes contact with the fret. So you're not pressing it all the way down, which immediately makes my brain go, well, that's going to be weird. But that's the idea, I guess. You're only pressing it down as far as it needs to go to contact the fret. I think it would feel very strange because you're not pressing it all the way down to the fretboard. But I think that's the idea. And that's literally the only idea that I know of for scalped frets. Robert says, Neptunes, have a good day. Sam says, Neptunes, be safe. Sam says, autocorrect sucks again. Norman says, maybe I missed the video, but have you wound any of your own pickups? I thought, why not learn with as much original touches that can be done? Helps. Yes, you're absolutely right. And I have I've never built my own pickups either. It's something I wouldn't mind doing, but like you said, not like you said, but I know what you mean. Trying to do it all yourself. It's a whole nother thing to learn, right? It's one thing to build a guitar using router templates and stuff. Then it's another whole thing to build a guitar using a CNC machine. So it's a whole nother set of skills. Winding your own pickups, a whole nother set of skills in and of itself, right? You're basically, yeah. It would be cool. And I know several builders that do all of their own work like that. I'm not ready to tackle that yet. I would like to, but I don't feel that I'm at that step yet. So as of right now, I have not made my own pickups. I just buy them. There's several manufacturers out there that I really like and have no problem buying them. I don't think I could, once you're set up, yes, you could probably build them for cheaper than you can buy them, but trying to get set up and learn and all of the trial and error, yeah, I'm just not there yet. But only because there's just so many other things that I want to do. Rick says, don't forget that thumbs up before you leave. Yeah, thanks, Rick. Says the scalloped fretboard must be something to get used to. I imagine it is. I think it's a whole different playing style. Norman says, I was just asking about compound radiuses. Not my thing, personally. Right on. Fair enough. Not mine either, but I don't have a problem with them. Sam says, don't forget to smash the like button. Not the computer screen, though. Unless you have a touch screen. What if you have a touch screen? So one thing that comes to mind on the compound radius that you also have to mess with, actually I'm going to have to play with it a little bit with this multi-scale, is the radius, right? You're pre-radiusing your fret wire. You're going to have to adjust. And I think I will have to do the same thing here, right? So this is a 16-inch radius on this right now. But since it's at an angle, right, the fret's longer. I don't know exactly what that radius is right there. I'm going to have to measure that and see, and then go from there. Maybe I'll even make some custom fret radius marker. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to be curious to see how much that radius changes from down here to up here. You know what I mean? The 12th fret is straight across. That's the only one I think that's going to be a true 16-inch radius. The fret wire. The whole fretboard's 16, but as it angles, I guess it's the other way. There's a lot of thinking to that. Sam says, don't forget to smash the like button. I just read that. Robert says, Colt Builds It channel showed that he started using one of those small diesel heaters. Yeah, the one that I have the eSpar D2. It works awesome. Well, until recently, and it started shutting off. But overall, it works great. It heats my little tiny shop pretty good. I also have a propane one that I use as well. Right now, it's the only one running because the diesel heater shut off earlier this morning. So I gotta get after that. Probably order a maintenance kit. Paul says, gotta go. Everyone have a great week. Stay warm as another cold front's coming through. Yeah, I think we're supposed to be nice. Knock on wood. Supposed to be nice through the weekend at least. Paul, have a good one. You stay warm as well. Robert says to Paul, have a good one. Harry Dude says, scalped fretboard. Tried it. Hated it. I can imagine that's how I would feel. Harry Dude said, Fusion can't measure the radii on the CAD design. It probably can. Harry Dude, to be completely honest, I just haven't tried. I've not tried to do that. But I just never thought about it. I think when I go back in and get ready for the next round of cuts here, I think I will. I'm going to go ahead and measure it. I'm sure it can. Just I never really thought about it. Sam says, Jeff's guitar stringing us along. Yeah. Sorry, Sam. Robert says, have you ever used any of the bare knuckle pickups? Back when they were a lot less expensive, I picked up a set of their humbuckers. I think it may also have a pair of their P90 pickups as well. Yes, Robert, they have become one of my favorite ones. I love the Nail Bomb, which is one of their hotter humbuckers. I don't think it's the hottest one they make, but I have that in 2 guitars, I believe. And I have really come to like that. I love the sound. One of my favorites, not sponsored or anything, but yes, I do like them. They are not cheap though. Normally I will go for something from Seymour Duncan. One of my other go-tos is either the Invader or the Seymour Duncan Distortion. Those are my personal favorites. Those 3, the Bare Knuckle Nail Bomb, the Invader, and the Distortion. If I really want one that I feel, to me anyway, that I want to feel special, or if I'm really going all out for whatever reason, I'll use the Bare Knuckles. Otherwise, the Seymour Duncans are perfectly fine, in my opinion. I like them both. But yeah, you're right. Back when they were a lot less expensive, yeah, they're really going up. I have one Nail Bomb that I might put in this. When I do the lefty one, I may only put 1 pickup in there because for me, 2's a waste. Like, why spend the $100 or whatever when I literally will only use the bridge? But maybe not. I don't know. I have 1 Nail Bomb is what I'm saying that I might put in here. A bridge. I may just not cut that one. We'll see. Otherwise, I don't know. We're not there yet anyway, so I got time to think about it. Norman says, still learning Fusion 360. Just took a class last week. Right on. Yes. Yes, it is. I've been using it now for like 4 years. Early on, I took an online class for it. Specifically the class from I Like to Make Stuff, not sponsored, but that was a great class to get started and start, building some best practices. And I still learn things every day. Mainly when it comes to guitars, the biggest thing that I've learned that makes it the easiest is to keep your timeline neat and tidy and name stuff. When you click a new sketch, don't just let it go sketch 1, sketch 2, sketch 3. Name it, like body, top, fretboard, radius. All of these different ones. That makes a big difference. Sempagan says, can't go wrong with Seymour Duncan. Yes. Yep, I agree. Levitator Music says, do you have any recommendations for good shop lighting? My garage has the old fluorescent work lights, and no matter what I'm working on, seems like I'm always standing in my own light. Yes, that's the tricky part, right? So one way to avoid that is, I mean, you got to have light from pretty much all angles. You've got to cover the whole thing. So, like if there's a light right over my bench. Before, I only had one kind of towards the back here. And if I was standing at this bench, the light would cast down and I'd have a shadow. The only way to stop that is to put a light right overhead so that it shines right down. At my guitar setup bench, for the longest time, I had just the room light, an overhead, dim room light, even though I put, the brightest bulbs I could find in there. When I was at the bench, the light was coming from my back and the shadows were terrible. The way I fixed that, I made this is a video 4 or 5 years ago, 6 years ago, made some pendant lights that hang right over the bench and shine straight down with like 100-watt bulbs. And that really took care of it. Unless I'm trying to do video, then it's not super great video there, but for doing work, the lighting is excellent. Here in the shop, I have several of those like clamp lights, that you can buy like at the hardware store, pretty inexpensive. And I have those clamped around, to shine, but those are mainly to shine on me. So I still get some shadows. But that keeps some of the shadows off of me from like doing video and stuff. If I wasn't doing video, I probably wouldn't worry about those. Overhead, I have a bunch of LED lights. I don't even remember what the brand of these are, but they're like, you can chain them together. They're what, 4, oh man, they're bright. 4-foot lengths. And they're daylight white. Chain them together, and I've got like 6 or 7 of these things. All around at different, some are going this way, some are going this way, that sort of thing, just to help fill everything in. And that's the hard part. You just got to have a lot of light. So probably the first thing you could do would be to swap out those fluorescents, right? You can get LED lights now all over the place. You can order them online. Barina, I think that's what these are. Barina lights, not sponsored. I think I ordered them on Amazon, and they come in a multi-pack. They're okay-ish. They're not great quality. I've had, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 of them actually burn out, and I've had to replace them over the years. But I mean, overall they've been working okay. And they're not super expensive. Robert says the first set of bare knuckle pickups I bought, they only cost me about $50 or something. Now they're upwards of 140 and up. Yeah. Yep. Norman says, thanks. Those little hints help. Right on. Right on. Yep, that's why we're here. That's why we're here. Sam says, you can make a keytar. Keytar would be kind of fun. Right on. And Norman, channel member, bam, right on. Speaking of channel member, we're going to do a live stream for just channel members. Tentatively scheduled for Friday. I want to get one in before the end of the month. I don't think, because Saturday, we're going to be busy pretty much all day. So I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it Saturday. I think we're going to do it Friday evening. I've got the video set up, but we will be doing a live stream monthly for channel members. That is the plan. And just so we know, as of right now, that is tentatively Friday. I think 7 o'clock is when I have it. That notice will be going out. Don't worry about that. So hopefully, if you're a channel member, you can make it to the live stream. Just a little bit more of this, but just for you. Robert says those fluorescent lights can be converted to LED bulbs. I think that the ballast just needs to be removed and wires connected. Oh yeah, good thinking. Sam says Jeff has a shadow. Heritage says, I use a couple of IKEA-style lamps similar to their terrestrial-style lamps attached to the bench. Can move around. Over my main bench, I have a magnifying style with a ring light on it. I thought about getting one of those with the little magnifier thingy. Yeah, that could be handy. Norman says, cool. Yeah, so stay tuned, Norman. I'll be posting that live. We're going to do one. It's going to be Friday. I'm just not sure in the time. It may be more like 6. somewhere in the evening, Friday evening, we'll do that. Friday afternoon, Friday evening, we'll get one in there for the live or for the channel members. So right on, guys. I gotta wrap this up. We're well past the hour, which is again totally fine as long as we have stuff going on. I don't mind going late, but we're gonna wrap this up. I got to get back to work, get a few things done, try to get some more cuts going on the machine, maybe thickness some more stock, work on filing or getting all the numbers together for taxes. So yeah, you guys, thank you so much for tuning in for today's Wednesday Live right here at Home Built Workshop. If you're not already subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, share any of the videos with your friends, family members. And that's something that I've been looking at too as we've been getting tax numbers and things ready. Engagement, not engagement. Like all the numbers are very low right now. So anything, any sharing, any of that, I truly do appreciate it. And thank you all for the support. I really appreciate all of you. Let's see. Sam says, need emergency lighting. Harry Dude says, I've done exactly that, and they work well. Right on. There you go. That's another option for lighting. Convert to fluorescence. Sam says, need emergency lighting. Yeah, not a bad idea. Sam says, thanks for the fantastic stream today, you absolute legend. Right on, Sam. Thank you. Sam Packin, celebrate your day, Jeff, and fellow followers. Right on. Thank you, Rick. Robert says, yeah, I had a cousin that converted some, and they worked well and used less power. Right on. Norman, ciao. Sam says, be safe, everyone. Robert, stay safe and healthy. Reek Reeks says, the UFO style are the best lights. Right on. Thank you for that tip. You guys, thank you all for tuning in. And remember, if you're a channel member, we're gonna meet this Friday for a little bit of extra live stream. So thank you all for tuning in. I hope you guys all have a great week. Get on your shops, build some cool things, shovel some snow, whatever it is you need to do this week. I hope you have the best time doing it. Until next time, thanks a lot for watching, and we will catch you all later. I'm gonna get out of here. Gotta get back to work. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate all of you. Take care. We're out.